Hello guys, the DB Grinder here, back at it again with another video, and this time I am here with a YCS champion, and y'all can go ahead and introduce yourselves real quick.
Hey guys, I am Rafael Reich. I'm from Brazil, and this weekend I just won the YCS remote duel from Latin America with the Tearlament strongest, the best deck, I guess.
Alright,
And
and y'all wanna do any shoutouts before we hop in, or any like card explanations and stuff?
yeah, of course, I'm not alone here. I'm here with Santiago Marin. He's the guy that won our WCQ and went to Worlds, made top 4 at Worlds with a very, very good deck. We already played a lot in a lot of events, so I can tell you guys how insane and how crazy he's a player. And he was the one that convinced me to play Tearlaments. I was going to play Labyrinth, and he went like, "Hey, look at this. We can make something work from this." He won Bogota regional from like 300 players. He also played the ICS remote and bubble. And yeah, he's like the soul of this deck. So Santiago, show yourself.
Okay, thanks, man. I'm really happy that you were able to take the win with the best deck.
Well, I think we can proceed and talk about the process. Like Santiago just went to me and told like, "Hey, Tearlament's strongest," and I was like, "Oh, no way!" And then we started practicing. So yeah, Santiago, can you? I think you can explain why Tearlaments, right? I think it's the main reason. It's up to you. So
Yeah, my thought process was that before Phantom Nightmare, there is like a small format these weeks, and we were not able to find any deck that has like a good feel and a good going second without having to draw like a lot of non-engine. And we found out that the Tearlament strategy was able to do amazing fields going first and was amazing going second because it has a lot of gas. And the decks that are being played right now can't stop a good gas hand of Tearlament. So that was like the main reason I started testing out, and I found out that I was able to break through Rescue boards easily, Labyrinth boards easily, Fire King boards easily. So in my opinion, it was one of the best decks right now before Phantom Nightmare's rise, because after Phantom Nightmare, I think Snake Eyes, Bonfire, Double Stars are going to be mandatory. But right now, before that, I think it was like the correct call for the events.
yeah, and especially besides that, like we get crazy results. He won Bogota regional. I got 8th place at the biggest Brazilian regional ever, and now I won the ICS. So the deck performed super, super, super well, and especially over the Tearlament's decision, I think it's worth to say that the deck by itself has two crazily good matchups. That is the Labyrinth matchup and the Fire King matchup. Usually, you are like 99% win rate against these two decks. So if you check like the top cut from the event, who are the two most represented decks, and then besides that you have like Manadium, you have like Rescue Ace. Rescue Ace is not that good as Fire King, but I still think it's a very good matchup. And Manadium kinda really sucks and made us change a lot of cards on our side deck because we played like two events, his regional and my regional, and then we just like changed a few cards on side deck. The extra deck and the main deck was the same for the last 3 weeks, except for two Bahamut sharks. That's bad. Yep. Obviously, two Bahamut shark was a mistake from my part doing the deck list, but I decided to look at the deck list like a day before the event, and I was like just checking the cards so I don't miss anything. So one Garuda, one Mudrago, one Dragostapira, and then one Bahamut, and then one Bahamut. I was like, okay, this is weird. And I couldn't find Zombie Vampire in my extra deck. So I was like, yeah, I even like someone asked me, so what, just like shut your mouth and play it, and then you get a game lost. And I was like, no, I don't want to do this. I think, especially in road duels that don't really count that much, I just feel better if I just get into my best gameplay possible, and hopefully I don't miss Zombie Vampire.
Yeah, and it's amazing that you were able to win with the two Bahamut shards.
Yeah, it should be Zombie Vampire, but yeah, I played 2 Bahamut Sharks the entire event, and yeah, it sucks. I don't have to say it, but it's terrible.
Did the second one ever come up?
On finals, the second wood came up on the finals, game 1, and then I did the misplay. I was kind of nervous, and I forgot to shuffle the toad with the shuffler. But I was like about to summon the second Bahamut from extra deck, but it was the only time, honestly. And I still won that game, so it would be like more from style points. But the psychological zombie vampire won me a game. That's funny because I had like Horus Engine, and my opponent made like a terrible play, terrible. Because if he didn't make that play, I could just like summon both Horus and get zombie vampire and win the game. And then he like went for terrible plays, and I was like, he doesn't know. It was very funny. We tried a lot of this deck, right? Santiago, the first list that Santiago comes up with us, we played like hand traps in main. We didn't play at Meta Noisy. We tried to get out the shufflers, get back the shufflers. Was crazy, I think. But even dangers here are so well designed. Like we discussed it a lot about the second danger name, if it should be Mothman, Bigfoot, and then Santiago just comes up to me and say like, "Wait, Bigfoot's level 8." And was like, okay.
So is there a reason
because
like why you chose Bigfoot over the other ones?
yeah, the main reason is we are not playing like another rank 4 besides Bahamut. So like Mothman being a level 4 didn't matter. And after that, we were since we are supposed to play Zombie Vampire, Bigfoot is a level 8 that can help us to make that. And it's also really good going second because it's a 3,000 body that can bait Barons, can bait SPs, and it's also a good discard. I think for Raph, it came up that he discarded Bigfoot with the Super Poly, and he was able to out a Dimensional Fissure.
So yeah, I won a game that took a Dimensional Fissure, Noir, Ash, Bestial, just because I had Super Poly pitching Bigfoot. It was crazy.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the main reason. Like it was really good going second. It's a big body, a free big body, and it's a level 8. And since we are not playing like another rank 4, like we do or something like that, I think Mudman wasn't the best option for that. But
yeah, it was like it should be better if I had Zombie Vampire because it's still level 8. But even by itself being a 3k body, it's like very important. So I could bait a lot of interactions, and it's just like big. So sometimes you just attack for game with the dangers and Horus. I had a game like that where my opponent was like trying to hand trap me to the death, and I was like Bigfoot attack. So
yeah, and in my opinion, the dangers were very important because, I mean, if you don't want to play the dangers, the other option you have is to play King of the Swamp. But we were finding in testing, we find out that you have to clear out opponent's boards completely. Like you cannot leave a King Sarcophagus alive. You cannot leave a Fire King Island alive. So that version had a lot of fusions in the extra deck, but wasn't able to link climb. And playing the dangers make us so we can play 2 boards easily, and we can link climb. And in my opinion, I don't know if Raph shares this opinion, but the link package is so important in this deck. Like people,
access code's crazy. Like this card is crazy. This card doesn't exist. Like I made access code so much times. I missed the count. I won top 4 just because I had access code Talker to attack for game. It was crazy.
Yeah, so the link package comes up so much because you can just make 2 random bodies. You make Dark, you summon something from your opponent's graveyard. You just go to Celine, and Celine can special summon Imseti from the graveyard. So right there, like easily, you can make access code token lines from nowhere. So that gives value to things like a random malicious in graveyard, a random danger in the field. So I think the link package is so good.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like, I feel like access code in this deck isn't even that good only because it can clear fields. Because your deck has an inherent ability to clear fields. But access code by itself also is a very, very important big beater. You can clean cards, you can turn your cards into access code to beat itself. And a lot of interactions, especially on this format, you need to clean the cards. You need to force out battle phase first attack for a Spiller Knight, for example, attack for a Fenrir. And then after that, if you still need to clear the board, access code is like the card. And then, yeah, the hero package is like common, but we almost played Denier, but yeah, we don't have enough links to make that justify Denier, so just don't play it, and it's fine. Horus would be better if you had Zombie Vampire. Fenrir is good. Fenrir is very good because it's like going second card that also can get you Engine by Tearlament's Kashira, so fine. We almost took out the shufflers, but they are like the main reason the Fire King and the Labyrinth matchups are kind of bite to us. So sometimes you need to shuffle back your stuff. A lot of the follow-up on this small format before Phantom Nightmare is based on Graveyard, like Garunix on the Fire King. The Tearlaments can keep a lot of cards. I played against Churkus, for example, so there's no point to justify taking out the cards. Yeah, then now the tournament's names. Shama is just crazy. Shama is just like absolutely crazy. It was like a last minute addition, right, Santiago? We put it like a day before your region. This card to me overperforms a lot. The fact that you can pop your Kaleido Heart, it's insane. You pop Kaleido Heart a lot since they are fan, and then it triggers Kaleido Heart, so you can dump at the elements. On field, it can also break a bunch of spell trap stuff. Like, as Santiago said, you can't let a King Sarcophagus, for example, survive on field. You have to use your Cheyenne effect to try to dig into more interactions of your opponent's field. And he randomly is so good. You can use its effect. The funny thing is, his field effect, you can target one card you control and destroy it. So there is nothing like target a set card, targets a Fiend from the Unchained strategy. So Shiyama is just like crazily good. And yeah, it was like at last minute call, I was trying the elements by myself and I said, Santiago, play Shiyama. The card is overperforming. Try it out. And I think it was good, right?
Yeah, for me at the regional that I won, it was also really, really good. Like, it came up that I was able to win 2 rounds because of him.
Yeah,
yeah.
The card overperforms, especially it's a level 6, and I won my top 4 by using it because I dumped Shama and Malicious on my usually Tearlament's Mew, and then my sprint to send Scattershot got ashed, I just like Beatrice and win, so it can put it on the count of Shayama. Droplet, Droplet's Santiago explanation, so I will let him talk about it because it was his idea.
Yeah, we were trying like a lot of stuff. We were playing hand traps like Ash, Droll, and Super Poly, Nibiru. At some point, we weren't even playing like any non-engine. But after a lot of testing, we found out that Droplet was the best card for that spot for 2 reasons. The first of all, it also comes up. It every time comes up, like versus every matchup. Droplet is always live, so it was helpful because you can just negate random Dweller. You can go through Manadium boards if you lose the dice roll. You can dodge the Rescue Ace traps. It's also really, really good against Fire King because you can just negate the Garunix when they're trying to pop your stuff. And like, if you draw it going first, it was not that bad because you can just set it and it's just another interruption. So in our opinion, we found out that Droplet was the best non-engine card if you only have 3 spots in your deck for that. And in the side deck, we're gonna talk about that later, but we also wanted to play like bombs, like cards that we know if we draw them, they're gonna have a high impact because we have like such a low non-engine spots in the main deck. So that was the main reason we played Droplet.
Yeah, I couldn't explain it better. Like, even the word bomb, it feels like it come out of my mouth because, yeah, we discussed this a lot. If you look like from our side deck perspective, it makes perfect sense with the 3 Forbidden Droplets in main deck. We have Draws, Nibiru, Super Polys, Lightning Storms, all cards that where we can have like, okay, I need to draw one non-engine and I need it to do as much as possible. And then with all other cards in my hand, I can try to dig into more fields, for example. So we don't play enough non-engine that can make us justify to play like low impact ones. So when we play the high impact ones, that's the reason why. And then Droplet was the best option for main deck because it's the most generic one. Then after side deck, you just like change the cards and make your deck better for each matchup. So yeah, even the word bombs are perfect because it was like the theory. We need to have like one good card, 5 engine cards, and let's see what happens. King Sarcophagus F2, it's weird. It's good. I still feel it's possible to play just one. But it comes up so much that sometimes you just mill it randomly. Sometimes it's randomly good to draw Sarcophagus. Like, because on the same way as Droplet, sometimes you just like send a Malicious from hand, send a Shuffler from hand. They both just like randomly get rid of Trivi Karmas, those kind of bad cards. And the Horus field, the Horus package, like Imseri and Happy, puts up so much pressure over our opponents because it can send a card by King Sarcophagus last effect. If your opponent tries to interact, taking out monsters from the field, or Happy or Imseri is also going to trigger and gives us a much more value. So if you want to play just one Sarcophagus, I feel like it's possible. But yeah, two work it pretty well, so...
Yeah, at some point we were even playing 3 because it was also a starter. But since we were playing the 3 Fenrir, we didn't need a tier 1 because already our deck was already consistent enough to justify only playing 2.
Yeah, and King Sarcophagus is also weird because on the situations where you need to use King Sarcophagus as one card combo, with Zombie Vampire, obviously, you commit 3 cards from your hand. King Sarcophagus plus the Chutes cards to make one play. So you give so much value out of one interaction your opponent could have. So 3 is too much, 2 feels fine. And then Triple Lereno, 3 Screams, think that's regular. Meta Noise, yeah, Meta Noise was also Santiago idea, but mainly it's the trap we search in like 90% of the matchups because it puts up so much pressure. The fact that you can send the Tearlaments from your deck to make the monster face down, it's so important. You don't have enough Tearlaments names to keep yourself in the game. So if you have a card that just like rushes the game, Meta Noise is clearly the card that rushes the game. So yeah, it's very important to have it.
Yeah, at some point we were playing like random cards, like Foolish Burial Goods, and we came up with the idea, well, let's just play like a good meal that can improve our going first boards. And I think Meta Noise was the right call because, like Rob said, like we were adding Meta Noise 99% of the time because it was so much pressure for every deck to play against that.
Yeah, because it's not like only gonna turn the monster face down. You also come up with a lot of other interactions we have. For example, on my top 8 matchup, I played against Sprite, and he was like, normal Beaver, I made Chang SP to ban the Beaver, he summoned Angler, I meta-noised the Angler, and it was game. So you put so much pressure over meta-noise plus other cards, and usually it's the card that ends the game. Because it's probably going to send a Tearlament's name, it's going to make a Kaleido Heart, a Dragostapilla. It's a card that turns up into 2 cards, usually. So yeah.
Yeah, and playing the higher spell and trap Tearlament numbers is very important because when you're going through boards, going second, randomly milling them is just a lot of pluses that can help you going through boards because your opponent is going to trade their negates and their interruption, they're losing cards, but we are also gaining advantage as we're going through the board. So playing a high number is very important.
Yeah. And then Trivi Karma, this card is like crazy. I feel like it was a random one-off because there is no Tearlament's name. You can't add it to the screen, but like it's so important to have an extra target. If you mill it, crazy. Okay, if you draw it, bad, I guess, because you can send from hand to graveyard with Heart. But you can send with Sarcophagus. There is a card that you get a lot in your engine. You can send with the Dangerous Destiny Hero, and especially The other thing about the Trivi Karma is the fact that can also add a trap. So you can use, for example, your Scream to add Meta Noise, and then Trivi Karma can get you Field Spell if you need place, can grab you Sulliek if you need an extra negate. The card is like crazy. There's nothing much to explain, but yeah, that's why we play it. Because I almost thought about like cutting out for 40 cards, but yeah, I think the 41 cards on this main deck feels like perfect. If you could cut something, if you need to cut something, I would cut like one Sarcophagus maybe, but I don't feel it's optimal.
So why didn't you guys play Terraforming?
Well, it's like the same thing about Foolish Burial goods. Terraforming just accomplishes you what you usually already has, that is like consistency. This deck doesn't lack of consistency. So we would like change consistency for more consistency, and this is weird because the cards Terraforming can grab is like Heart, Perlereno, of course, but Perlereno into Reinhardt, Perlereno into Cherkash, and you already have triple Perlereno, three Reinhardt, triple Fenrir to add Cherkash, triple Cherkash. So there was no point on playing like random good one-offs to draw in a deck that you are probably gonna see like 3 times more cards being sent from your deck to your graveyard than cards you're gonna draw. So we tried to make a deck that's, of course, not terrible to draw the cards, but we couldn't put those random one-offs that just are bad. Bad when you mill them. So yeah. Droplet, I feel like a pain in my ass whenever I mill a Droplet. So if I had Droplet plus the Terraforming, I would kill myself.
Did you guys try out like Tearlament Grief then? Like, you know, a card that's like decent to draw, decent to mill.
We saw Paulo list. I played against Paulo. He won a regional. I think everyone should see his list. And I lost to him on my regional. But then I talked about it, Santiago. We were like, nah. We simply don't need it. It feels like not the card is bad, but it's again the same thing. It just accomplishes you what your deck is already very good to get. So we couldn't find a slot on our deck to take out cards. That's the main reason. Okay, we could play like 50 more cards if you wanna, because there's a lot of good cards to play, like Denier, Terraforming, Foolish Burial goods, but still we didn't want it to go like so high in number of cards.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Do you guys want to do side or extra next?
I think extra deck, because side deck is way more important to discuss, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the extra deck is very, very regular. Like we already explained the Celine and access code package. So yeah, like the Chubahamut situation, it was an accent, sorry. But on my heart, I played all the event with Chubahamuts. I never put a zombie vampire in my deck box. So yeah. Yeah, I don't think we have anything very good to explain of extra deck. Do you want to say something, Santiago?
No, like you say, the extra deck is very regular. Like there is nothing besides the link package that very important to explain.
Yeah. Okay, so we can go to the side. I think you want to ask something about the extra deck. Please don't ask about Chubahamuts.
No, I think the extra deck looks good. I have nothing to say about it. I guess you know, you talked about Time Thief Redoer earlier. Did you ever like consider that card in the extra deck?
At some point, yeah, at some point in testing we did, but first of all, we didn't have the space, because if we played Redoer, we had to cut like one of the links, and in testing the links came up so much more than the random Redoer.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
And especially like the special thing here is we should play Redoer. We talked about Zeus. We talked about Typhon. And nothing feels better from the cards we already had. It feels like every card was so important. I think I summoned every card from my extra deck at least 3 times each. Like, no capping. So, even Dangerous was like the one the Destiny Hero one is the guy I less summoned. I still made it like 2-3 times and was like crucial to win. And also, Redoer is just good. You mill so many cards. So you're probably gonna mill a Reinhardt. So Redoer would only be good if you have a level 4 plus Shayrain. And Honestly, you don't play too much with the Tearlament's names, the ones that are limited. You don't play too much with them on field. Like, you try to avoid to use their effects, to add them with Pellerino. You just do it in very, very hard situations. So, if I had to have Shayrin on field and another level 4, the game was probably already screwed up. It's not like Shayrin to make Reduer would win. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right, let's hop in the side deck.
This side deck feels amazing. We changed it like, okay, so main deck and extra deck, besides the Bahamut Shark situation, we played the same since Santiago Regional. Santiago Regional was like 3 weeks ago. Yeah, that's correct, Santiago?
It was actually 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, true. So the first event was regionals. The main deck and the side deck remains the same for my regional last week and this ICS. But side deck changed a lot. We didn't had lightning storms, and we didn't had draws. Yeah, and we didn't have feather dust. Yeah, we played the fire attacker engine, the impulse
rescue
fire
package.
attacker,
Yeah.
and we played more 2 cosmic cyclones. But it feels like impulse. It's not like the card is bad, but it's just good in matchups that are already pretty much set it up. Like, for example, Fire King. And at least myself, I had very, very, very hard times against Manerium, and just kind of like going first, I'm gonna combo you out of your dead. And yeah, so we try to take out these cards to make draw. There is a very good bomb card. And we were like worried about Rescue Ace too. So we tried to fit in Feather Duster plus Lightning Storms. And then this gave us 40 cards, 14 cards in our side deck. And we were like, okay, we need one more card. So we are talking like, oh, what did you even consider before deciding by this Cosmic Cyclone?
I think we were just trying to play like a random Pancratops, but we found out that Cosmic Cyclone was the better option because it covers a lot of matchups and give us another card against Centurion. I didn't play against Centurion, but we were very prepared for it because we had the 3 Droplet, the 3 Super Poly, and we also had like the 7th card being the Cosmic Cyclone to stop the Calamity Lock.
Yeah, it's very important by the maths that you have 7 cards in a specific matchup. It turns up your odds to drawing one of them really, really high, besides 6. I don't know. I know this doesn't make sense, but like the math doesn't lie. So yeah. And then Cosmic Cyclone was the 7th card for the Centurion matchup, and also the card is generically good against a bunch of matchups. You can have the card going first, for example, in Fire Kings, in a lot of matchups. The card is like randomly good, and you randomly get into a lot of good stuff, just like playing Cosmic Cyclone for no reason. So, especially if you had like 4 slots, it was like just one card. There is nothing really, really, really that important that would cover as much things as Cosmic would do. Especially because I have panic about Centurion. Centurion is a deck that like it feels like panicking to play against.
Yeah, and we didn't have to play like any random floodgate or random things to go first because in our opinion, like it's gonna sound weird, but in our opinion, like the Nibiru's are the best cards to side in when we're going first because even if your final board is not as impressive, like every deck has to commit into Nib to play through like a soft tier board. So like every time we go first, we just side in the cold buy and the Nibs, and we feel pretty safe about that because like every deck has to commit into Nib to play through even a soft tier board.
Yeah, and besides that, like our deck is already crazy going first. Like if you are going first, there is no point to play a card a turn you're going first better. Like you are already most likely going to win because your deck's crazy. So it's better to have more cards for going second or more utility cards for the matchups where you are game 2, game 3, trying to go second. And that's funny because I played 14 rounds, besides rounds plus top cut, and I won 3 dice rolls. So I played into a lot of boards. So I feel like the call was kind of correct. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess like another question is, did you guys try like transaction rollback? I know some people have been trying that in Tearlament.
Santiago tried. Santiago tried.
I tried in this last week, but I wasn't able to test a lot the last week because I had a lot of work at job, and I just did some random hands, and I told Raf like, "Yo, this is very consistent," but he told me like, we don't make Beatrice enough to justify it, and like just and like he said like we don't need like a random stuff to go in first, but we tried. It might be a possibility. Like in my test hands, it always came up, but in to be honest, I never use it in a real testing environment, so I'm not really sure.
That's
And to
fair.
myself, I was like, no, this is a 100% no. Like, you don't make Beatrice enough, and if you make Beatrice on your opponent's turn, you don't need a auto win card button. You're probably gonna mill a Shuffler, a Tearlament's Name, something like this, and get your win against your opponent. So there is no point on just trying to, I'm gonna win this game as soon as possible because I'm gonna activate 2 cards. This is probably just gonna turn your mills worst, and you can't get that. You need your mills to be the best as possible, and it's 2 bricks. So if I drew one of them, I would like. I'm playing remote duels. I'm my roam. I have a very big window here. I couldn't play with this scary of just like drawing a my Akashi trap. There is no way I'm gonna do that. So even though the Fury is good, but I think it just justifies itself if you have Beatrice as your main line play. We make Beatrice a lot, that's true, because we have Malicious, we have Shiyama, but it's like not something that is consistently doing. We are not doing Beatrice consistently enough to justify. We are just gonna make Beatrice if you are already playing. And if you are already playing, if we get into Beatrice, honestly, we already won that game. So there's no point on playing something like, oh my god, auto win, let's go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the point with when we were to Beatrice, we already have Toad in board, we already have SP lines, we already have IP lines. So yeah, what Raf says is true. If we get to Beatrice, we already won the game already.
All right. That's the last question I have. Do y'all want to say anything else before we go?
I okay. Santiago go first, and I'm gonna talk a bit later.
No, something about the decklist. No, I think we have covered everything.
Okay, about the deck list, nothing special to say. Like, just feels so correct. Like, even though Tearlament has a lot of one-off random cards, they justify themselves a lot. Like, this deck was well designed by 3 weeks. We went like even a month to play our regionals and to play. So I'm very happy. I'm sad Santiago didn't make top cut after this ICS, but he won the biggest regional ever in Colombia. He's a very accomplished player. He went to Worlds this year. So I want to say a very big thank you to him because it's like so important. And also thank you from everyone from my membership club over my YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, guys, but Portuguese content. So it's like not the same thing as doing English content, I know, but still the Brazilian community kind of made me so happy about my run on this event. And from everyone from my group of tests, from everyone from membership groups, from everyone from YouTube, Facebook, everyone that said that thank you. And the most special thank you here is for Santiago. Without him, without all the time he put in the deck, because like I didn't have enough time to play test a lot. I did theorize a lot, played like in my telephone a bit when I was like over classes, but yeah, he put in so much effort to it. So I couldn't get this result. I couldn't get my first ICS win after a lot of tries. I gotta say, it was like my 10th top, but after a lot of tries, this was just possible because of him. So yeah, my just very very special thank you to Santiago.
Yeah, and I also want to thank you because you are like the one that question my ideas the most. So I think that makes like a good theorizing team because every day I have Rap say why, and that I think that helps a lot to get to better ideas and to create like a good deck. And so
We had like a deck list. This was funny because he sent me a deck list after he practiced a lot, and I was like, okay, I went like for 12 questions, like, what about this, what about this, what about this, why this, not this, why this, how do you play with this, how you side deck with this, your side deck partners are like this, and like, I think we made like really good partners to test, and yeah.
Yeah, and even though I wasn't able to top today, I'm really happy that you make it. So like, I'm really happy for you, my man.
I appreciate it a lot, bro.
All right, so is that all you'll have to say? But also, shout out to both of you for coming in here and doing this video with me. I appreciate it. Both really good players. I'm happy that y'all got to like show off. Tearlament is still like a real deck. A lot of people like wrote it off once YuGiOh and Kelbeck got hit. But yeah, do y'all have any final words before we go?
I don't know if I said that, but we chose Tearlament because it has 2 free matchups with Fire King and Labyrinth. Did I say about that?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was so long this profile, sorry.
Yeah,
That's all, and
and
thank you for having us.
yeah,
Alright.
and last thing I want to say that another reason we chose Tearlament is because everyone was thinking that it was trash, that it was dead. So like people wasn't citing bestials, wasn't citing a lot of DD crows, and it paid off. Like for rough happens that I don't know if you got bestial a lot of times, but
Yeah, like
they
3
went.
times in 40 games, so...
Oh yeah.
And this is a crazy result. Like, I made 7-1-1 in Swiss and 1 top cut. You won your regional making 8 and 1 draw. I top cut my regional making 7-2. So like this deck has so much effort, and I'm happy it paid off.
I'm happy
think that's
that
all.
it paid off for you guys. But okay, yeah, that's gonna be the end of the video. I think y'all said everything right.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep, no, thank you guys for doing this. It was very insightful, very nice to hear. Hopefully next time, you know what? Maybe the zombie vampires will hold you back. So
Yeah. And like I had like 3 games where I thought like, okay, I'm gonna lose because I don't have zombie vampire. There were situations where like make zombie vampire and auto win. No joking. It was making him and auto win. And the 3 games, my opponent was breaking, and I was like, attack with horrors, attack, and they kept breaking. So it was funny. It was like it was supposed to be. Sometimes it's like it was my day.
But all right. With all that being said, because everything's out of the way now, right?
Yeah.
All right. But
Yeah.
with all that being said, the TV Grinder signing off. Peace. Again, make sure to go check out his channel, link down below at the top of the description, and have a nice day.